And welcome back everyone. Good morning, this lovely Sunday morning, to the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 4, our bi-weekly tournament for the regions of North America, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, and Oceania as well. It is great to be back. It's great to be here, and we already have our first matchup for this event. Exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. It's going to be a little bit of a smaller bracket here today, and we were concerned. I'll be honest, we were worried that we wouldn't be able to host the event itself, but we have the bare minimum required, and we're diving into this. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the American Terran player representing all the donkeys out there. It's beautiful. It is Frost. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the American Zerg player representing Team Gosu. It is Kazmir. Oh boy, here we go. So pretty competitive matchup here to kick things off. Both players, of course, in the M1 range. Oh boy, and yeah, we do have quite a number of players as well. Got some pretty big names. You know, we have Trigger hailing from the land of Canada, we have Eric from Brazil, and we have Ranger from Malaysia. Those are the more notable players. Again, unfortunately, we don't really have the highest amount of signups this week, but hopefully, you know, things will look a little bit better as the weeks do go on. I know that it can be sometimes difficult to keep track of bi-weekly events because they're not as consistent. They're every 2 weeks instead of every regular week, so sometimes that can that can be difficult to keep up with, especially as a pro player when you've got so many other events going on as well. So it's a little bit of a feels bad, man, but regardless the show will go on, and I'm pretty excited to cast this as well, just because it's been a really long time since I've seen Frost compete in a tournament. Last time she competed, I want to say was maybe Sea Duckling Open, like a couple of months ago. It's been a while since we've been running our amateur events. I say a couple months ago, like 8-9 months ago at this point. Been a very long time. So it's great to see Frost once again here in a more competitive setting. Of course, Frost does play in Sparkling Tuna Cup whenever we do have them as well, or whatever. Of course, the NA players are awake for it, but this is, of course, at a more NA friendly time. So no excuses when it comes to, you know, staying up late, unless of course we didn't sleep, which is also possible. It is possible. Oh god. As for the time being, we're just gonna be dancing here with the Queen of Kazmir. Standard opener coming out from Frost for the most part. Meanwhile, we have a couple of Lings slipping out across the map here, slipping past that Reaper, and they're going to be causing a bit of a delay. Thankfully, there is a Marine back at home, and we will get a kill on that SCV. We'll delay the CC for a little bit. And this Ling is getting a bit out of hand, but with good enough control, with good enough micro, we will be able to clean this up. The CC will continue. Back across the map, Kazmir's just getting into the swing of things here, is getting into their third base as well. Pretty interesting stuff, as we are actually going to be staying on these two queens and going to be delaying our third and fourth queen instead, as we were a little bit supply blocked there. So a little bit unfortunate, but I'm curious as to what this will lead into here, as we are intentionally staying on a relatively lower queen count. Yeah, lower queen count. I'm still waking up. Meanwhile, we're getting a third CC here, a third CC before Starport opener from Frost, so very economic, very standard stuff. And this is why I was really curious about the lack of queens. I was like, mate, why are we not making queens? This is looking really suspect, and now we see why. We have the Roach Warren on the way. We have a second Gas Geyser as well. Kazmir even delayed their third hatchery. I did take note of that. And we can see why. It was all done on purpose. We are not droning. We're making Lings. We're going to be making Queens. No, sorry. Making Lings. Making Roaches. Going to be going all in. Oh boy. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. We do have Frost in the dark at the moment, is going to be checking, does get eyes on the third base, but hasn't gone into the natural, hasn't gone into the main base either with their Reaper. So we are working off of a very limited amount of scanning information. Frost is going to be rotating over towards that natural base as well. Should be spotting these roaches as they come out, but the Lings are already across the map. Boys are being pulled. The first Hellion is already going to be going down. We do see Frost trying to race back home and does come across those roaches. The Roaches will be able to shut down the Hellions across the map, and likewise, these Lings are getting out of control as well. Thankfully, we did go into a Banshee opener, and the Banshee will be able to wreak havoc upon the ground units of Kazmir. But the wall is not a wall. We're throwing down a bunker as we speak. We have Marauders in production as well. Oh, but this natural base is going to be compromised. There's no way to hold on to it. Frost is going to have to evacuate and try to hold on to his naturally. As the Roaches are arriving, the Ravages as well. Again, the Banshees are going to do well for themselves. The problem is that by the time they kill all these Roaches, damage is going to be done. There's nothing stopping Kazmir from heading towards, even into the main base. The wall is a wall, thankfully. The depot is raised, but the SCVs at the natural are all going to be going down. The Roaches do start step up towards that main base as well. Files, no! I'm going to be connecting on the Banshee. But the Banshee does barely survive. One Bile away from going down. Bile's going to be throwing down on the depots instead. And again, we should be able to hold on. Oh, that depots are getting very low though. Oof. As the Bile does take down the Banshee, Lings do flood into the main base. The wall is no longer a wall. We do have that Marauders, all those Marauders finished up in that bunker. And eventually we'll be able to clean this up as well, but behind this, Kazmir is happily droning. Oh boy, we're up to 3 hatcheries. We're going to be saturating everything we can. We should be getting a lair on the way. There we go. Lair is thrown down. We are throwing down spores as well. Kazmir fully aware of the danger of these Banshees, especially with Cloak, as Cloak is now done for Frost. But with all of these spores, Kazmir should be perfectly fine back at home. We're taking our gases as well. Like, we are sitting so pretty here for Kazmir. And I appreciate this. I mean, we need to do something to come back in this game. It does make plenty of sense. For us, it's going to be going for Banshee speed for hyperflight rotors. And that is a way to come back. We are going to be heavily reliant on these Banshees. Obviously, the spores are going to make it difficult to deal damage, but we can pick off some gas mining workers, for example, and then try to find some damage elsewhere. As Frost is being as active as they can. We do see Lings getting us around though, and oh, just like that, every single Hellion does go down. These units are so valuable here, and we just can't afford to lose any of them. And again, as a result, Kazmir is in a really solid position. We can take a 4th base from here. Taking a 4th can be a little bit difficult. We actually still haven't made any additional queens, or we have 1 creeping queen. Because of that, it can be difficult to hold on to the 4th base just because of the Banshee harassment and DPS. But we'll try. I just love that this, like, we still only have 4 Banshees. Sorry, 4 queens. It's just not a priority here. Mio Mike, is that you? As we do go for the double scan here, just checking to see if there is a 4th base and checking to see what is going on here, what the tech is looking like. Does confirm the commitment into Roach production. And thankfully, because of the 3cc opener, Frost is going for that 3rd base. Oh, can recover economically over time. We are going to be getting into mech as well. It does make sense just because of the opener and just because of how things have gone. We do need to go for a hyper efficient unit composition. So mech is going to be the composition of choice. And this is quite a hit squad here of Banshees. We're rushing across map. And hey, we're going to be able to catch a couple of these Roaches as well. Not too bad. 2-3 Roaches are going to be going down, but Kazmir is sending everything across the map. What do we have at home to defend? We have a couple of Hellions, we have a couple of Cyclones. We still need more time to get into our production, and alas, once again, this 3rd base is going to be under threat. The Banshees are racing back home. But by the time they get here, there just isn't going to be much left at home to defend. The SCV is going to be going down. The depot wall will fall as well. And from here, once again, even though these Banshees will eventually clean everything up, GG gets called, and Kazmir will take game number 1. GG. Solid game there from Kazmir. Again, unfortunately, the Reaper scouting from Frost at the start of that game was very lacking. Frost was more concerned with checking if there was a natural and delaying the 3rd, less so of scouting into the main base and into the natural base as well. So yeah, Frost was caught very exposed in game number 1. But now, I'm sure they're going to be a lot more on notice as we just fix that up. There we go. Now I'm sure Frost is going to be a lot more on notice and aware of the potential of aggression coming out from Kazmir. The jig is up, and yeah, that is going to make things a little bit more. That's going to mean that Kazmir is going to have a harder time trying to sneak out with something like this. Meanwhile, just trying to fix up the. The overlays, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. I accidentally clicked like a reset button and had to put everything back in, but we're good to go. We're diving into game number 2. Oh boy, and game 2 will be taking place on Gressvan. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gressvan, we have the American Terran player representing all the donkeys out there in the world. It is Frost. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Gressvan, we have their opponents. We have the American Zerg player representing Team Gosu, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is Kazmir. Here we go. And of course, Frost is a longtime supporter of the Cranky Ducklings. She's not just constantly in the chat, constantly actually was first, redeemed that first quacker once again, but also is a patron as well. So we do have a lot of kind of soft place in my heart even for Frost here. As oh my god. We're going for a gas pool opener here for Kazmir. I haven't seen a Bane bust in a ZVT in a while, not like this. Doesn't have to be. This could be for a Roach Rush as well. Regardless, the aggression from Kazmir is non-stop. Oh boy. Is going to be going for a bit of an all-in, and Frost for the time being is none the wiser, which is fine. Soon we should be seeing an SCV Scout going into a Reaper Scout as well, and we'll see what Kazmir has in store for us. So with this faster gas, this can lead into faster link speeds for a link flood. This can lead into a Baneling Nest for a link Bane all-in, and this can also lead into a fast Roach Warren as well. I'm leaning towards Roaches. Roaches are a lot more common in this matchup. And yeah, we are only making 2 links. So the goal here is for these 2 links to deny the scouting, to try and pick off this SCV before it gets a scout up, before it really confirms what is going on, as we do prioritize link speed, and we are pulling out of gas. Interesting. Very interesting. The SCV has arrived. The Lings are looking to try and deny this. Frost does confirm at least the pull first opener. Oh, and this is what's dangerous about this build, is that Frost has to keep her Reaper back at home. And it makes sense, right? Like, if the Reaper goes across the map to try and scout, then the Lings are going to be delaying the CC. They're going to be getting a kill in this SCV, and things are going to be that much worse for Frost. Kazmir across the map, still mining a decent amount of gas, though. I'm really curious as to what this gas is going to be used for, as we're just link flooding. I assumed that at least a Baneling Nest, but apparently no. We're just going to be link flooding across the map. The Lings are headed out as we speak. We do see Frost trying to set up here, and I appreciate this. We have a bunker on the high ground. We are going 3cc anyway. Oh my god. The confidence here from Frost. We are going to be forced to lift up the natural base, of course, but that's going to be okay. We're going to be having some minimal losses. We only have 1 SCV on the low ground, and for the most part, Frost is looking to hold on to the high ground. As 1 SCV does go down, the Lings are looking to chip away at the CC, but we are morphing in the orbital, and we should be able to lift up momentarily. And there we go, the CC does lift. And from here, Kazmir is content to just drone. Of course, Kazmir has a lot of catching up to do. The economic situation here, the third base timing, oh my god, is quite delayed. But Kazmir pulls back into gas. We have a lair on the way, and this could be for a multitude of things. This could be for a Queen Ling Nidus all-in. We do have an Overlord poised here outside the main base. This could also be for 2-base Lair. For 2-base Spire. If it was Eric, I would say 2-base Swarm Host. But I think Eric is very unique in that way. I don't think many people are going 2-base Swarm Host. So yeah, we'll see if more gases are taken. For the time being, with only one gas, this is still feeling like a Nidus. Oh, but there we go. We have a second, third, and fourth gas on the way, and a third base. This is now screaming either a Hydrogen or a Spire, something very gas intensive, as the Lings are still containing Frost here to their singular base. Still not quite taking control of the low ground. I do think we have enough. Like, we have our Cyclone, we have Marines, we have Hellions as well. I do think that we're respecting these Lings a little bit too much, and as a result, Frost's economy is that much more delayed. But there we go, we finally do unload from that bunker. We're headed down towards the low ground, and we can now saturate our natural. A little bit later than we would have liked, but it's on the way nonetheless. And behind this, there is that Spire. So essentially 2-base Muta is going to be coming up from Kazmir. Oh boy, and this can be devastating, especially if it does go unscattered. I believe we have the Reaper alive? No, wait, what? Oh, the Reaper did die earlier. We have very limited scanning information. I would love a scan. I know we have seen Vindicta in the past in this situation go for a scan into the main base just to confirm what is going on, especially because we don't have a Reaper. Like, we have very limited knowledge right now. Frost doesn't know if there's a Rochel incoming, or a Spire, or Hydras, or yeah, even Swarm Host, if that was the case. Oh boy. As for the time being, we're going to be active with these Hellions. We do have a couple of Banshees, and the Banshees should be heading across the map soon as well. But by the time they do, I'm concerned that Mutas will already be on the way. As Hellions do confirm the third base, they also confirm the lack of saturation. They're now going to confirm the lack of saturation at the third, which is quite suspect. Very unusual indeed. But as all the information that Frost does have. As we can see here, oh my god, we're going for another all-in. We have so many Lings. We're getting a full surround on these Hellions as well. They all are going to go down. And now we're making nothing but Lings and nothing but Mutas. Oh boy. Back at home, we have a full wall, so the Lings aren't going to be able to do too much damage. But I worry about the Mutas. Stim is still not quite done. No turrets are in place either. We have a Cyclone, which will help. Will definitely help, but the Mutas are on the way. And our follow-up is going to be Roaches. We're droning, we're going for double lever change for 1-1. So Kazmir is just continuing to switch up their tech. I do think this can work quite well, to be honest. As long as the Muta count is preserved, then we can do quite an amount of damage. As the Banshees dip into the main, they confirm the Lair. Now they confirm the Spire. Oh boy, turrets get thrown down, but at this point it's too late. The Mutas are already here. They have already arrived. Stim is done, thankfully, and the Marines are going to be able to dance with these Mutas. The Cyclones as well. This is not a good fight for the Mutas. Ooh, Kazmir overextending heavily here, as every single Muta is going to be going down. Only one Muta survives. Bit of miscontrol here from our Zerg player. Meanwhile, the Banshees across the map got a kill on the Spire. Did go down in the end, but now that is the end of the Mutas. Frost no longer has to be concerned with that, but at the same time, Kazmir wasn't concerned with that either, because we are getting into Roach speed, we are getting into Roach Ravager. No. But what's important is that because the Mutas were thrown away, Frost is still in this. Frost is still in this game. Frost's economy is pretty comparable with that of Kazmir. Why? Well, Kazmir cut workers to make Lings. Because of the massive amount of Lings and the massive investment into these Mutas. Look at the gas lost here for our Zerg player. Almost 1,000 gas down the drain because of the lack of control, the lack of value gotten from those Mutas. But we still have a couple of Mutas remaining here. It looks like we were able to squeeze out a couple of Mutas before the Spire did go down. And we can still find some damage. And to be fair, this is pretty necessary. Like, Kazmir needs to do some or get some value out of these Mutas just because of how horribly the first wave went. Does bait out of Stim, gets an SCV here and there. Not too bad, not too bad. Even going to be threatening these gas geysers in the main base as well. The other important thing is that this is keeping Frost busy in the main at the third. And from here, Kazmir has just been droning quite happily. Droning, taking a third base, taking a fourth base even. Has been spending quite a bit of supply on the Roach Ravager though, and it looks like we had cutting workers at 61. 1-1 is about to kick in for Kazmir as well, and this is going to be a pretty strong timing. What do we have at home to defend this third base? Oh, I shouldn't bring up defending the third because actually Frost is moving out across the map. Oh, and we are getting caught a little bit on siege here. The Ravagers and Roaches have arrived. Vials are rained down on some of these medevacs, and the tanks go down. But this is also not a fight we want to take with the Marines. Oh my god. But the Vials were insane. They do find their connections. The Ravagers are going to get cleaned up though. Again, like, I don't really like Kazmir fighting without any supportive units like Lings, Bailings, or Roaches. That was an expensive loss for Kazmir. Oof. Oh my god, the target fire. 3 more mutas do go down as well. But the sheer amount of Roaches may just be too much. Even though Kazmir had a pretty inefficient fight by losing all of their Ravagers, it looks like we still have enough on the ground anyway to overwhelm and to bust on in towards the third base. Ooh, the tank goes down in the blink of an eye. Marines are trying to stand strong here. The boys are being pulled. But alas, without any tanks, without a backbone to the army, the Roach Ravager is going to go uncontested. It was so unfortunate that Frost was caught on siege. Frost was caught in the middle of a move out. If those tanks had played a larger role, if they were sieged, they would have played a larger role. We may have seen a very different fight occur there out on the map. Alas, the third base has been broken. The fourth CC is cancelled. And Frost is going to be struggling to hold on here to even these 2 bases. I mean, with this tank and with the amount of bio units that we have, Frost should be able to hold on here at least on these 2 bases, but behind this, Kazmir is just flooding more Lings and more Roaches across the map. Oof. And it's one of those things where Kazmir doesn't even have to commit. So we take down all these depots. If we want to, we can drone, we can take a hive, we can throw down infestation, but we can take up from this position. But Kazmir is aware of how far ahead they are. Wilds will be connecting, oh my god, with the tanks, with some of the medevacs as well. We're going to be diving on top of the tanks. Only 1 tank does remain, and it's not even sieged. And with that, alas, we're going to go for one last ditch effort. The boys are being pulled. And hey, with the help of the boys, the Marines are going to be able to hold the line a little bit longer. It took a lot, but Frost does hold on to her natural base, and her third technically as well. But Kazmir's not stopping. Kazmir is not stopping, just continuing to build up more Roach Ravager. Wilds connect, tank goes down. Can we come back from this? Unfortunately, we did lose a lot of SCVs. That's the downside here of Frost's situation, of their position. Getting another tank. 2-2 is kicking in for Frost. So these Marines are going to trade incredibly efficiently. But at a certain point, it is kind of a numbers game. We've got 3-3 on the way. Are we going to get to the point where we have 3-3 against the 1-1 of Kazmir? Is that going to happen? Possibly, possibly. Again, Kazmir is aware of their position. They're just remaxing once again, going for, what is this, wave number 3? This time they're looking to come in from multiple angles. And here we go. The Roach Ravager comes in from behind. It does get on top of one of those tanks already. Files will be connecting as well. And we spoke about it before. With the death of these tanks, that is going to be the death of this army. It's the only thing stopping the Roach Ravager from busting on through. once again, for the second time, the third base has been broken. I appreciate the tenacity, the turtle tenacity even, of Frost, but GG gets called, and Kazmir will take game number 2 and the series. GG. GG, well played. Kazmir with a very aggressive style. I was not expecting that. Again, I'm not too familiar with Kazmir. But yeah, that does mean that Kazmir is going to be advancing on into the next round. Oh my god, how fast were these games?